came in late, but then I just kind of took over control. They want to do weird stuff, but then I started getting on the groups on Facebook and finding witches and finding. I found a guy who wrote a book on UFOs. Come on the show. Found devil worshippers.
You told me that. That's pretty.
I found
awesome.
a time traveler. That was the next show, but we canceled it. But and we did a JFK show that was real popular.
I've never recorded on my laptop, so this is a test to see how.
Okay, so you're recording it directly onto the hard drive of your laptop.
Yes,
because that way you'll be able to save files.
Because I had my phone, the last two cut off halfway through because I didn't have enough space. And that's frustrating.
Yeah,
looks like it's recording.
You got to find more cloud space and then clear it out.
Yes, but I've never had this problem before. And every time I delete the 1 hour video, I'm like, what happened?
If you want to drink beer or anything, it doesn't bother me. Oh, you're going to the Scouts later.
Yeah.
Is it the Scouts or is it the Boy Scouts still?
It's Scouting of America officially. Like a lot of the things still say Boy Scouts.
Damn Democrats. I don't even watch the news anymore, man. I don't know if you've noticed my Facebook. You probably blocked me a long time ago as far as seeing my posts.
No.
There's nothing that shows up. If I talk about it, I talk about my actual perspective personally that I see based on what I know what they're doing. People say, "What's your source?" And I go, "I'm your source," because this is what I see happening, man.
Well, for me,
so
politics,
people can't argue with me.
Yeah,
I don't argue politics at all.
It's hard. I just had this conversation with somebody else.
Chip kind of pissed me off the other day, but then I realized.
Chip? Oh, I deleted Chip.
I realized.
I didn't delete Chip because I love Chip, but
yeah, I put on
his politics were
he's just mad. He just calls you stupid.
Yeah, I don't
when you
understand.
talk to him, he spends like 5 sentences, breaks them up into 3 paragraphs, and the whole thing is just a long way of calling you stupid. Yeah. And I pointed that out.
Well,
I said the only thing you did in that sentence was call me stupid.
Well, I think it's just
anybody
that's that passionate about politics.
Yeah, I had to put 4 bubbles because they have character limits now to put my response in there. And he said, "These are your only 2 points," and I was like, "No, I had to break it up into 4 or 5 bubbles actually because it's about 5,000 words." My response, and it's all my perspective. It's not even like from the news because he'll be at Fox News. No, it's me.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we all got a perspective from somewhere. So.
Yeah, I've become extremely chatty since I quit drinking because that's my new drug of choice: caffeine and sugar.
All right. Hello. Welcome to Closing Time Podcast. We're here with Scott Blanks. Say hello, Scott.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Oh, you weren't talking to me.
Hey, I was talking to the world.
The world. Sorry about that.
Hello, world.
I interrupt a lot. I should have told you that up front. I apologize.
Say sorry to the world, man. Not me.
I apologize.
I don't care. I got thick skin. The world, though, man. I'm working on the world. I'm going to get around to all of them saying.
I like it.
I'm coming, man.
Well, I've known Mr. Scott for a long time, since we were 16 years old.
Well, we're just a year apart. So yeah, we can say 16. I think I was 15, maybe. You were driving. We were not. Maybe Andy was older than me, so he was driving because I remember he had wrecked that, whatever he had, that Mustang, and I wasn't driving.
Oh, the Mustang. That was Don's and then his.
I have no idea.
I forgot about that car.
His dad left it out in the yard. This guy had a beautiful Mustang, good friend of ours, and I don't know what year it was.
So cool.
But it was just beautiful, beautiful paint job on it. Gorgeous. And he's racing it on this back road in Fayetteville because we are country bumpkins out here, man. We do muscle car races on back roads, side by side, wrong lane, in the dark, with the lights out. Cow pastures on both sides. They're flying down the road. Andy is coming up, and a cow comes out in the road, and he swerves off on this cliff. Goes sideways and hits a tree, hits it right in front of the windshield.
I remember the
bends
picture.
Bends the whole front end around. It was just this big dent right in front of the windshield. Like, I don't know, maybe a foot would have been his life, you know.
I forgot about that.
And the cow, I made up the cow, but it was cool. You know, I always have to admit my lies, you know, even though it's not even a big lie, really. You're not even upset, are you? No, you're not.
All right, so today we are talking about.
Oh, is this? I'm carrying this thing. Go.
It's fine.
Talk.
We're talking about alcoholism. Scott is a recovered.
Yeah,
would you say it's a recovered alcoholic or recovering?
I was not an alcoholic actually ever in my life, and I'm finally becoming one. So it's great, and I'm coming to kind of get people into it. It's a new thing. And no, I actually quit drinking. I wasn't a big drinker in high school. I'll tell you the whole damn story.
Let's start at the beginning. I got a plan. I want to know where you are now, because then I want
to
go
back to ninth grade and what really catapulted me meeting you guys.
Okay, that is definitely where I want to go from the beginning. If you can pinpoint.
Oh yeah, I had the awakening that a lot of y'all had after high school in the ninth grade, and it was because of a drug called acid. Now, ninth grade, 15, I drank one time, first time ever, and I remember for whatever reason I lied. I was like, I drink all the time. I don't know why I had to lie about that. It's stupid when you think back, but like, I don't know why I lied that I wasn't a virgin. You know, a lot of things, but that was one. But anyway. Beside that, I went with this guy named Chad Gibson, and I was trying to get in with the cool crowd.
Chad, okay, if you name names here.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's a Chad Gibson. He's from Dakota, North Dakota.
North Dakota. This was back when you lived.
He was in town visiting, and he comes from a long line of Gibsons who they manufactured a car called the Gibson, which eventually it failed before it made it out of the other Dakota. So you probably never heard of it, but that's that. And so, anyway, we've covered that.
All right, so
I'm out with people who I'm
you're
gonna tell you
out with this guy.
I'm out with people. I'm trying to hang out with the cool crowd because that's where the girls are, and they're doing drugs and things. And I'm like, I'm not going to do the drugs because I'm a kid of Nancy Reagan. And I said, "Can y'all get me some beer?" We were at a hotel that they had rented, and these other kids from another school. Nobody I really got a good vibe from, but I was just trying to fit in, you know. And he goes, "I ain't gonna be able to get you that beer, bud. Here, just take these." I go, "What is that?" He goes, "It's LSD. It's fine. It's cool." So basically, he didn't tell me what I was in store for. Kind of tricked me into doing it. It was 2 hits, and the whole night, my experience, I'm analyzing the universe, seeing like big visuals, which I never knew you could see. I didn't know that was possible. Face melting, toilet is swallowing my urine as I piss into it. Really freaked out. I don't think I actually freaked out. I just kept talking about like the things I was seeing, and it all made sense. And all of them were just laughing because their brains were not really on a high level. They just knew to giggle at me, and they thought I was talking nonsense. But I probably was, but it made sense. But that I was like, "How long does this last?" Somebody said 8 hours. I was like, "Mother effer, you know, 8 hours. That's insane."
That's a long time.
And so that's when I got down, and then I realized I really hate all these people, and I don't like being here. Now the sun's coming up. Me and the guy named Tim, he's just Tim, drives me home. The sun's up, pulling the driveway. I'm supposed to be spending the night at his house, walking the door, and my father, my mother, and my brother are right by the phone crying, trying to find out where I'm at. And I'm still on the acid tripping. Second thing I've ever done to inebriate myself in my life. A really bad moment there. Then he makes me go mow the lawn. And like I could not figure out how to stay in line. What happened was I had an awakening, and I said, I'm done with these people. I now what I see are just people that I hate. I didn't like them that night. I saw people I hated giggling in my face, and I was like, these people are just evil, and I don't want to know them. I want to know real people, real friends, the friends that you can count on, and loyal friends. And I found Andy always that type of friend, and people like Brad Jones, and that's when I met David. But I gravitated towards them. They were hanging out in the middle of D Hall, and I just went over there, and I moseyed my way into that crowd. So as time went by and I hung in that crowd, the cool crowd switched from those guys to us. We became the cool crowd in the high school.
Are you saying you were the common
denominator? I
denominator?
actually planned it, yeah.
Because I don't know any of those people that you speak of. I don't know those names. So this is my question.
So that's how I got into y'all's group, was because of that trip, and I realized I want real friends that I like. I don't want to kiss ass
when you're
just
on drugs,
to fit in. I don't care about fitting in anymore.
When you're that vulnerable,
changing.
You probably being vulnerable. When you're on that type of drug, you're very vulnerable, and I think you need the safety of friends, knowing that people aren't going to mess with you. They're going to take care of you. So I don't see why that would.
I
turn
really
away.
got a carefree attitude after that. Like I went from kind of shy to kind of loud and more funny and open.
Okay, so my first memories of you, your nickname was Stony.
That name made me famous.
It did. And it doesn't fit so much anymore, but for a long time, you truly looked stoned all the time. And I remember it used to make you mad because I didn't know this story because and this is my memory, you were pretty clean that you did not want people thinking you did all that stuff.
Yeah.
That you did drugs or I don't even remember. Yeah, we weren't heavy drinkers, but I just remember you hated that nickname because you didn't want people to, think that that's what you did all the time.
To a degree, yeah.
I
just said it right after somebody said Stoney that met me for the first time. And actually, people would say it for me. They're like, he doesn't do weed. And they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Stoney, you gotta get high with us, dude. All the stoners wanted to get high with me because apparently I was a legendary person to go get high with. I gave up all drugs, even alcohol, after the acid trip. And I think it was like late 11th grade when I started having a beer or two. I think we were out in the road in front of Andy's house. It was me, you, Andy, and Josh Connery. And Connery got upset with me because I had one beer.
Really?
And he was like, Scott, no, man. I was leaning on you.
Huh.
And I was like, just loosen up. And then I drank a little bit. And
so what, the acid trip was in 9th grade?
It scared me out of drugs completely. I never touched any drugs other than alcohol until after high school.
Okay. All right. So let's tie everything to the alcoholism.
Yeah.
So we did the drug. We moved away from it. We drank beer in high school, probably more than kids do now, but I wouldn't say anything excessive. I never drank before school. I never drank during school. I never even drank during the week. It was just a Friday, Saturday night type of thing.
You lived with me when I became an alcoholic.
Ah.
When I started working in bars.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
So.
And I was just going home after work, but all of a sudden I realized, okay, all the girls, I work with just girls. They're hanging out after work.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't you stay and drink with us? And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Because I used to just go home and get high. And then all of a sudden I discovered, this is why I'm not meeting girls. I'm going home and getting high and playing video games with my friends.
Now, we've moved a long way forward now because
we jumped a long way. We can't.
Because I'm graduated from college. I bought a house, and I had a few. Who all lived there? Was Bray there when?
No, it was me and you and Don.
Don
Taggart. Don Taggart.
Don Taggart.
He is no longer with us.
Yeah, another alcoholic.
Major. He wouldn't quit.
He was a severe alcoholic.
I would call him drunk, trying to get him to quit drinking.
Yeah.
Because he was told he was going to die if he didn't quit.
He was.
And then
he was the first true alcoholic that I knew that I saw like he was drinking for no reason. Had an incredible job with FAA. Got fired. Just had everything and just could not drink. Yeah. He had to be the life of the party, and he was funny. But he just drank till he fell down, and it was.
He would always run out of beer a few days before his paycheck, so we would sit on the couch like this, shaking. Only 24, 25-year-old I ever saw shake from physical to fit. I never had physical.
He's been passed away, 15 years, 20 years?
No, maybe 10, maybe less.
10, less than?
That's hard to say, man.
All right, let's go back to you.
Yeah.
All right, so I
was a weed smoker, though, from after high school in the apartment till about 26.
Okay.
Maybe 24, 25. I don't know. But when I lived with you,
yeah.
I rolled up.
Okay. And so I guess when you think alcoholism, when you think about it, they think it's hereditary. People say it's hereditary. Some people are alcoholics, some aren't. You think you're just predisposition to it? And then you went into the bars working it, and so therefore it was easier?
It is all in my family, both sides.
Both sides.
Yeah. So my father's father was an alcoholic. And he said he never hurt my father, but it was just he was absent.
Yeah.
And he would go 5 years sober, but then go back to drinking again. Another 5 years sober. Same with cigarettes.
So was your father ever an alcoholic?
No, because he watched his father and he didn't want to be that. And he got.
But he drank, didn't he?
Yeah, he drinks 2 beers a day.
That's what I thought. I remember him having casual drinks, but I don't ever remember seeing him.
he started getting into drinking whiskey at one point, and he realized I don't want to be like my father, and he went back. Plus, he got married right out of high school, so he had that, that guardian.
A woman can help, because I have another good friend that drank a lot, and it runs in their family, and they've been sober, I don't know, probably 100 years, but their wife told them, either stop drinking or we're done, and they chose
the women. It's bad for the women.
Yeah, so. Wow. Well, I do remember, just to break to a memory, I remember watching, and I want to try to recreate that, and I don't know how, because I don't know enough about old Westerns, but I remember we used to go, and your dad and his friends would put those old Westerns with a reel and play them.
Yeah, the old ranch house.
That was so cool.
It was like old school 8mm.
Yeah.
And he would play these old, like, he had, some of it was like Laurel and Hardy, the Three Stooges, things like that, and then Westerns. And we just liked it because it was dark. A movie was going. Everybody's eating popcorn.
It was real too.
The atmosphere was fun.
Yeah.
The whole thing was fun. And like, y'all loved it. Y'all would just not even be invited. Y'all like knock on the back door. And I'm like, that's probably David. And
I do remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, cool, man.
So at what point did you ever feel like, okay, this is out of control? Or so you're 24, you're working as a bartender, and then you're out all night. And I do remember you slept. Like, I'd come home from work and you'd still be asleep.
That was a contributor to that, but I was always a late sleeper. That's why I was stony in high school. I never slept. I was staying up till 3 a.m. every day and then getting up going to school. Then I'd come home and crash right at 4.
Really?
And then I'd be up late. Yeah. That's how I got the red eye.
Huh.
And I slept in class a lot.
Yeah. So what did you ever have an inclination as to this is not? Was there ever a moment you look back on going, hey, I saw it then and I should have stopped then? That day, I remember.
It's the weirdest thing because I remember being at your house and I was like, I don't know if I got depressed or what, but I was like, I'm just going to start drinking a lot. Why not? See if I become an alcoholic. It's like I almost consciously decided it, but alcoholism is a messed up disease. It's an insane disease, and it's totally your brain taking over you. It's like a separate entity, and I'll explain that as you get into like recovery, because that's when the brain really starts manipulating you and tricking you. That's how you have relapses, things like that. And but I made that conscious decision. I was like, I'm just going to start partying and drinking and hanging out with women at these bars because everybody seems to be having a good time. And I grew up in an atmosphere, you knew my Uncle Fred Poteet and all them, they partied and drank. I found out after he died, they did a lot more than that. But awesome dude. They all met him. Just a funny, fun dude to hang out with. At the Lone Star, everybody loved that guy, or they hated him. I found out later. I got a woman punch me in the eye because she hated him.
Really?
I said, that's my uncle, bitch. I was a drunk, so I defended him. I'm like going to fight a girl for disrespecting my own. She stopped me right now over Fred. And I told Fred, I want you to know that this woman punched me in the eye because I'm related to you.
Keep going. That's recording. That's why I did it.
Are we on 2 cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
This is Scott. All right. I don't know why I reintroduced myself because we're on something to be edited together. But yeah. All right. So talks about my family a little bit. I grew up in a family where the culture was drinking and partying. All the family get-togethers involves a lot of beer. I remember everyone would show up with like 2 full cases of beer. My uncle would have like bottles of liquor, like Wild Turkey and Jack Daniels. He had all the most redneck stuff you could think of, brown whiskey, and it would get a cabin out in the mountains for Christmas. It was just so funny. And then we had like my friend Kelly's dad, who was a chicken man. My dad's best friend would always be there. And him and Fred would go back and forth, just the funniest little skits watching them. I had a good time growing up. And then they were drinking, just to me, I wasn't watching them get hammered. I was just thought this was the culture. This is normal.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything to worry about. So this is me, all my mom's side that I'm going because my dad didn't have any siblings. So they're all drinking. They're alcoholics. They're not all alcoholics. I'm not going to say that on camera, but there's just a lot of drinking and partying. And I didn't just not say it on camera. I'm just saying that's how I saw it. But my dad's father was an alcoholic. I can say that because he's not alive. And that's what kept him sober. But it's all in my genetics. So I never really got a warning about that. You know, it's kind of weird. I figured I would. But it just grabs hold of you one day. Just one day, it's like I only wanted to go out to drink. I didn't really care so much about drinking in unless there were a couple people there, and there had to be girls there. That was the key. For whatever, that's a big trigger for me. Girls that are drinking, and then like dive bar kind of settings, bars where like the culture is drinking to in excess. That's what triggers me for whatever reason, and I have to be out. But I always made sure I got out. You know, see, that's the thing. So it's not like it just happened to be out and that's when I drank. I just made sure I went out 5 nights a week or 4 nights a week sometimes. It just depended on how much it wore me down. But it went on for so long, I guess. Not too long, though, because it was like 26 before I became like a really bad drinker. So a lot of people started in their early teens.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who said, I never thought I'd see you get sober, because we're talking about me getting to blackout every night. I got where I was taking Ubers. I go home, get an Uber, go out. That's an expensive night. And every now and then I would stop by and say, I'm just going to have a beer after work, and that's it. But that didn't work. Never did. And that's when I would get in trouble. And, you know, people say, why do you keep driving when you're drunk? That's stupid. And my response is, well, I was drunk and I'm not smart when I drink. I'm stupid.
Driving or...
Yeah, driving is stupid when you're drunk.
So you were driving. Because did you have DUIs?
You could really, I do. And somehow I lucked out. They were spaced out far enough. I never got a felony. So I'm still felon free. I can own a gun. I can vote. And that's very important to me to a degree. Anyway, I knew for a long time I hated it. I was sick of it. I want to quit. But after a few days of not drinking and feeling good, it's like, I'll be all right. Let's go out and drink. The urge would just kick back in because your mind is saying it's okay. It would block out all the bad things that you didn't want to drink for. They put a smoke screen over it.
So what is the difference though? Because like I had those same desires. Like I remember when I lived in the Highlands at 30, now I only went out Friday and Saturday night and some Thursdays. But I had that urge, and I'd sit there and was like, God, I can't wait till I'm older and don't have this urge anymore. But I had to go. I wanted to drink. I drank by the pool, and I drank till 2 or 3. It's
not supposed to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is that different? Because the same urge that you speak of, I guess I had the same thing, but maybe just at a different level. I didn't really have the urge to do the blackout. That wasn't ever the goal. It happened, certainly. Especially football games or Jimmy Buffett concerts. Like when I was in excess. But most of the time when I went out, it was 2 o'clock. I went out.
You were at an NXS concert. That's pretty gay, man. Sorry, gay people. I'm cool with you. 80s gay, not now gay.
Never been to an NXS concert.
Okay. I think they're actually pretty cool.
And
even if they're gay, they're cool. You know, it's 80s gay is totally different kind of gay.
Yeah.
Don't write letters to David because.
Okay, so I guess I don't even know if you can answer that because obviously you're not me. I'm just thinking through what you're saying of that desire just to drink. I had that same desire. I'm just thinking, what was in me, or what is the? Is it the desire not to quit, or is it just I knew that at 2 o'clock I got to go home, or I'm not gonna?
You reach a point every night when you're drinking where this is not what I wanted to get. I'm miserable now.
Right.
You know.
This is no longer fun.
I want to quit. Yeah. Every day I wanted to quit. Next day I want to quit. But then a few days go by and you feel good again, and you're just not even thinking about that bad feeling and that it's going to come back, and those depressing thoughts that follow, because dopamine is what's secreted without the help of your receptors with alcohol. So your receptors make adjustments and they don't produce enough dopamine. So you're left without it for a few days. And that's what causes your depression. And that's with drugs and everything else.
You tie alcoholism to your depression? Was depression first?
No,
or you got depression after you realized I'm addicted to alcohol?
Well, depression was a part of drinking the next day and shit like that, but it would wear up. And then I dealt with actual depression, but it was actually, I found out that it was depression that was legitimate. And it was because I had like social anxiety, which I hid from all. I was really good at it. But especially with girls. I mean, I would just run. If a girl liked me, I think you'd like to say, "This girl likes you, dude." I'd like run away because I had such bad social anxiety, and it would just kick in sometimes for no reason. And that's what drinking. I learned I could have 2 beers and then I'd relax. So that became my crutch at some point when we started going to Mama's Country Showcase, and I realized, okay, I can meet girls and talk to them. And I mentioned this earlier, and I've been sitting in my apartment in the weekends since I was, for the last 6 years, getting high, playing video games with my friends. This is why we all don't have girlfriends. So, because weed, I'm not saying I needed alcohol, but it's because getting high, playing video games, and not socializing. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't going into alcoholism at that time. It was definitely when I went to Delta, left Delta after that point, and then moved in with you. I worked at Why Not, and it was hanging out with those girls. And I realized going to meet other girls at other bars after that, all of a sudden I got me at a table and all these beautiful women, and they're all just getting sloshed. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna do it too, you know? And it just got carried away. And then I remember drinking your liquor a few times because I just wanted it. And then I had to get, you never yelled at me personally. He didn't like confrontation, but he did love confrontation. So you would record your yells on the answering machine. And the little thing would be beeping, and then I would hate to push it. I push it, and you go, Scott, you take all my liquor again last night. You know, or Scott, I told you not to wash the Teflon pans. That is not a good David, but that's my David. Yeah, the Teflon pans and drinking your liquor, and I was like, I'm sorry.
You probably used a fork on the Teflon, didn't you? That's probably what it was.
I just scrubbed them. I didn't know. I don't know.
Well, nobody knew.
Teflon's bad for
now.
you.
That's a pet peeve now is you can't use metal in a Teflon pan.
Well, you can't eat Teflon pans because it's bad for you.
Well,
It causes chemicals that never leave your system.
Yeah.
That turns certain things into estrogen. Creates estrogen in your body, man.
That's why I have nice boobs.
And I don't have the complete, your boobs or your bush?
Boobs.
Okay. All right, mine are leftover muscles.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Because I had muscles in high school.
Okay.
A little bit in high school and then in my 20s.
All right, let's bring it back.
And we are.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about my muscles.
No.
And I had some pictures of myself. Yeah, so alcoholism. Okay. We were in the apartment smoking weed. Been there. We're at your place. That's when I started getting hammered all the time. Lost my job at Why Not. I think I hid it from you for a little while. Where's Ren? I told you, dude, I lost my job. I'm trying to find another one. You said, why didn't you tell me, man? So you helped me out. I remember I gave you a VCR and you're like, thanks, dude. And then I was like, I don't have anything to watch my porn on. And I went back in your room and took the VCR back without saying anything. We never even exchanged any words. I just had the VCR back for my porn. And I'm dead. Porn's bad. I'm dead set against it. Somehow the alcohol made me watch it. But yeah, so I went from there, went over to across the street, moved in with Chad Rogers.
Yes.
And he kicked me right out because he said, you're fucked up, dude.
Yeah. I love that. I love that whole street and that.
Those were fun times.
Was.
I love like when Vic Spear was there and Tony. And then we had like Rick Silva.
I run into people all the time that were at those parties and speak to me and like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a 2-party block and we had a great time.
It was nice. Kind of shared back
the coolest people all hung out together during that time. Like that whole group of people with riders, and then us over there, we were the coolest people to hang out with. And I remember you went out of town one time, and me and Don were like, we're gonna get the Georgia game on pay-per-view. Big party at your house, man. We cleaned it up. Look good.
Okay. Good. Didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't have cameras back then.
Huh?
They didn't have cameras back then, so
yeah.
I'd be a horrible roommate now because I'd have cameras up and
yeah. That's the other thing that's horrible about alcohol. There's a lot of bad traits that come with it, but like your mind's going to do everything it can to protect its ability to drink, because the number one priority in an alcoholic's life is the drink, and that means you will screw over your family, you'll lie to them, your friends, everybody else. I wanted that party because it was going to be alcohol involved.
Right.
I wanted to lie to my parents and, when I was younger, and go out and drink because my body, my mind wanted that drink. Or like he calls it, what are you doing? And I said, I'm sitting at a McDonald's McDonald's. He goes, you're in a bar. I go, no, you're drunk right now. No, it's obvious. And just lying to your parents. I think like stealing is a big thing with a lot of people, stealing for people you love. I think the worst thing I did was I got into my parents' change jar and made like some $10 stacks.
Some rolls.
Yeah, and I still feel guilty about that, but I did that, but I never like got into the purse or got a credit card or anything like that. So it didn't go that far, but I remember one time I was drunk and my dad came out and picked me up and he's driving me home, and it's always just, it exudes disappointment. You just feel it. And he says, Scott, I don't like you. He goes, I love you because you're my son, but I don't like you.
Don't say that, parents, to your kids. Don't.
Okay, I was like 30.
My mom said that to me once.
Yeah, I was 30 something.
Yeah. You think you're getting some point across, but all you're doing is breaking their heart. That's how it was for me. It was
impactful, but no, he wasn't making a point. He really felt that way.
Yeah. No, I get it. No, I get that. You feel that way, but you just don't.
I called this guy to bail me out of jail, and I knew he'd do it. And then he always said, I'm not going to do it again, but I knew he would. And then that's a shitty way for me to live my life. And that's a shit person. And just all the misery, when you come in and confront me drunk, and then the things I would say back, and I know, like, I still didn't get sober for a few years after that, but it always stayed with me. And then, like, my dad he had a few bouts with cancer, but he got it cut out. And then just something hit me after the last DUI, and they had this drug court program. And I said, I want to do it. And I went in and I said, I'm excited. I want to do this. I was totally dedicated to it, and I put everything into it because AA didn't work. God, Jesus, all that, getting you sober wasn't working for me because I start asking questions that screw that whole thing up.
No.
And that's just my mind thinks too much. So I needed a psychological approach, and I'm going to tell you all who get told you can't do it without God. You can. You can also love your God. I'm not being somebody that's trying to convert you at all. I don't disrespect religion because I don't know shit about religion. But psychology is a good approach. It's an excellent approach. It's worked wonders for me. And one of the big things that really works for me, one is breathing. Breathe through your nose. You always breathe through your nose because that's how you get real oxygen. That's the way you're supposed to breathe. I think it does something to you mentally if you become a mouth breather. It affects your mental growth. But like you take your fist right here, all these are air pockets, your sinuses up here. That's all converts it to oxygen, sends it to your lungs. Or I don't know. I just saw this the other day, and it just said breathe through your nose, and I said okay, and I'm gonna do that, and I feel better now. It's 3 days straight of doing that. 3 days of not being a mouth breather.
Okay.
So I have a T-shirt.
All right, so
I get off track sometimes, but where we were at,
you did the
exercises. Okay, psychological approach is So I'm in the program. Never drank while I was in it. Never failed a drug test. I was dedicated, and there was lots of classes, a lot of work, and they took up a lot of your time. Plus, they required you to have a job, work 32 hours a week. If you screwed up, you'd be in court, and you'd find out that day you screwed up to fail this drug test. You're going to jail right now. Well, I got to work tonight. That's too bad. Lost their job. It'd be like, I lost my job because you put me in jail. Jason would go, okay, so what are you doing to get another job? Be like, nothing. He goes, okay, well, you need to have a new job in the month, okay? So you need to get on that. They don't care. They don't care. It's your problem. And that's teaching you accountability. The biggest thing that I see, and I've only been in 2 radios, but teaching you accountability is somehow, I haven't connected it, but I kind of did. I guess it's good to be responsible for yourself, but taking accountability for your actions is a big part of getting sober. And so they will do stuff like I wouldn't write the date on a piece of paper, and that would be a sanction. They say, Scott, you didn't write the date on your AA meeting paper. And I was like, okay. So that is going to be one day of bench duty. Bench duty meant I had to go in on a Tuesday or it was a Thursday, 8 a.m., sit there till all day, till like 4:35, and watch every court case go through. Just sit there. Some was interesting, most of it was boring. And then sometimes it was like 4 hours of community service, but that was just not forgetting a date. So it's teaching you to double check everything. It teaches you to slow down, double check, make sure everything's filled out, be accountable for the work that you do, be proud of the work you do, I guess, too. So the biggest thing that helped me was the 5-year plan. And I don't know if anybody else jumped on it the way I did, but I was like, I had this idea. I sat in jail and came up with this awesome idea.
Whose 5-year plan is this? Is this something written down? Is
this is something
5-year plan?
In the classes, there were the counselors ran these classes, and it was in the books. Go ahead and write out your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. And I was like, I have no kids. I'm not married. I feel like great. Like I have no ailments. I'm going full speed ahead, and I'm going to be sober. So I'm going to be spending money and time. I'm going to do my big idea. But first, I'm going to learn how to code. So I joined a coding class. That was all the step of the 5-year plan. And as long as I followed that 5-year plan and achieved my little goals, it felt great. That's what I focused on because I knew I was working towards something I always wanted. Yeah. I was stuck in a rut drinking. I couldn't get out of it. Working at restaurants. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to die. When I can't work in a restaurant, I'm going to die in the street. And I accepted that at one point. But I was excited. I was like, this is what I'm focused on. This is what I'm doing. And it helped me get sober more than anything because it got me excited about something that wasn't involved with alcohol with Ruben. And I'm moving towards that. I'm getting through the classes and getting closer. Still got 2.5 years in my 5-year plan. At that point, I'll be working on my own freelance because I want to be my own boss. It'll be freelance coding. I'm going to focus on Shopify accounts first. I'm going to find this one niche, then grow from there. Then I want to build these certain platforms like dating apps and stuff, but I want to find original ideas, do them for free, build databases. Match.com buys this up for millions of dollars, build some capital. The 10-year plan is my big idea. It's basically, I'm not going to say it. It's my big idea, and it's a global network, and it's a game changer. It's a big deal if I can make it work because I understand.
You have a name for it, so I can say I knew you were.
I want Galley because Gallivant. I want a 4 or 5 word name.
Okay.
I think that's important. It's got to stick. Galley's one, and there's a few others, but I kind of like Galley. I think it's important though to keep it simple. I think like logos, it's better when they're simple. They stick to your head.
It's a great logo right here.
Yeah, it's a wine. No, it's not. It's a stamp for
it's a wax stamp. Yes.
No, I've always noticed that. For a long time, I was like, that just sticks out every time I watch your video.
I don't know how it. The wax stamp has what it has to do with mortgages, but I just always thought it was a classy look, and I asked Fiverr to design it.
Cool.
And they did.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
It stands out.
Yeah,
So,
I like
what you want.
I like it because, like you said, it's simple, it's red, it looks like a stamp of approval. That's what I
my logo. I did logos for a little while. I taught myself how to use Illustrator. So Chip Evans, I taught myself how to do your job and made money. You went to college. Anyway, I went to dig on him one time. That was fun. But yeah, my whole goal was to make it a sphere, put some colored lines to it, pick the colors that are cool, put that actual name of your business, like the coolest logo is just the word Google with different colors. That's their logos. And then it went to the G later. But yeah, simple is better because that's what you remember. And then the same with the name. So I want to build this. It's about traveling. That's what it revolves around. And it's about networking global with citizens across the globe. So when you're on this platform long enough, it's going to allow you to travel. I'm going to give all my secrets away. It's going to allow you to, I'm not going to tell you how it happens, but it'll allow you to travel on your own. You just log in. You don't have to make plans with your friends. I want to be in Paris in 4 months, and I can't figure out anybody to go with me. And you'll be able to go on. You'll go. You'll meet. There'll be a group of people that you've been talking to for months. You're friends with. Then you start hitting like Thailand, New Zealand, Spain, not China, they have a bubble, Japan, whatever. And then suddenly you have networks, people everywhere, connections all over the globe. And this is your friend list. It's not your high school kid friends and people within a radius. Your friend list is people across the globe that you have met, that you have traveled and experienced with and have similar. And you're going to learn, get to know these people well, and you're going to learn their cultures. And it's not going to be a shock to you when you go. You're going to learn it by knowing them. I think it'll cause like a understanding of cultures. You're going to learn from a citizen level what they think of their government, your government, what they hear about your government, and you can tell them what you think about your government. And I think it's kind of cool that citizens will be able to kind of unite globally and discuss things personally without a government coming in and filtering it. And you don't have. So it'll eliminate stereotypes that are born from your governments and the way you're represented, your media and the way it represents you, and also World War I stereotypes, because the French, they're probably not really pussies anymore. So they're not vaginas. I'm sorry, cut that out. I don't know what kind of show you have, man. Cussing is my vocabulary.
I say cuss words. I have no problem with cuss words.
It's my vocabulary. It's not me being offensive.
But okay,
basically that's
your idea. That's your big 10-year. Now, so that's what's helped you focus to become so.
Yeah, but the thing I said at the end is the end game. I want to bring some sort of game-changing, world-changing dynamic to it. I don't know if it'll work that way. It's what I hope for.
Okay.
And I have that realism. My drive is I'm going forward, motivated, full steam. I'm going to succeed. But I'm also realistic. It's going to take probably several tries. It might not work out. I understand that. Too. You gotta realize reality, but you have to drive forward like you're going to make it happen. Yeah. You have to believe.
So you're still in that plan. So that's what's helping you stay focused, or like how you said you've been sober 3 years. How much of a battle is it now still? Like how tempting is alcohol?
This is something that I want to explain to you. When I had the relapse, my mind thought like nothing had happened. No treatment had happened. No 3 years. No family connection, repairs. It was just like I drank yesterday. I drank yesterday. I'm going to drink. That's how my mind was. There was a smoke screen over everything great. There was smoke screen over every reason why I couldn't. There's a smoke screen over all the things that I could fail, drug test wise, and land me back in jail. It was like, there's a bar seat, I'm going there, get drunk. And I think it was like a couple beers first time, just 3 times.
What was it? Was it an invite? Was it just you drove by?
I was alone.
You were just by yourself? Yeah.
I may have sabotaged myself. I don't know. But what happened, I think that I met this girl on a dating app, and she had liked me, and I was drinking, and at the time, that was one of my drinking days of the 6, and I was going back to the way I hooked up, on the dating app rather than meeting somebody. And she said, "Why did you swipe right on me?" And I said, "Because under the drinking part on your profile, it said often." And that just meant she was easy, Sorry, man, I'm not that. That guy's a jerk. That guy's a jerk.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair comment. I didn't make you a jerk.
No, I'm honest.
We go on those apps for those reasons. And if somebody's making it clear that that's what they want.
Women do it too. They do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Women will have. This is a girl I dated. She had it on her profile. Please know how to have a conversation. And I went out on a date with her. She was a Latino girl. I got to tell you this because it's the smoothest thing I've ever said to a woman, like on the spot. I called her, and she had a little bit of a Latino accent. And I said, "Is that Latina?" She goes, "You can hear that?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm 41% Latino." I said, "Well, that's funny. That's the exact amount of Latino I like in my women." And she thought that was awesome. She laughed. That's 41% is the exact amount.
Yeah. That's a good percentage. I can see why you're attracted to it.
Well, 41% is the perfect amount. Like if you get 40, then that's when.
Are you really even Latino?
Yeah, too much of the American comes in, and that's the American percent where they're like the nagging. That's the nagging percent. and you don't want that.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, all women. This is all stereotypes. It's not what I think. I love it, all of y'all.
Yeah.
And I will.
And you're currently single, so if anybody
every
would
single
like
one
to,
of y'all tonight, as I go through the Rolodex, I am not a stud.
no, none of us are. Very few.
I kind of am a stud.
Very few. All right, so where are we today? So how are things with your family, with your dad and your mom? I love your mom. Please tell her hello.
Oh well, yeah, she's great, man.
Are y'all on like does he keep you arm's length? Like I love you, you're still my son, but I'm not. Are y'all full on back? Y'all reconnected? How is your relationship with your mom and dad at this point? Right now?
Okay, my dad passed away in August. I did not know you didn't know that. Yeah, and I spent 2.5 years. I'm sorry, you absorb that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Did I know that? I apologize.
Yeah. No. Thank you. Yeah. Well, no. Apology's not good enough. You know, he made my dad die. No, man. And the weird thing is, people ask me, "Oh, let me say this part first." I spent 2.5 years with my father sober at the end, and it was all I did was like we reconnected, we repatched and repaired our relationship, and he had his son back because he had lost his son as far as he was concerned, you know, and he had him back. He was so happy, and I would sit and listen to those boring, you know, he'd like talk about Cowboys for hours, wouldn't let you go in the back office. I don't know if you ever experienced that. A lot of people did, and they would just get stuck there, and they're like, because he's talking about things that you don't know, and but I would just sit there and listen to him because I was like, yeah. I love my dad. And he got big into, after he retired, into movie extra stuff. And he's been in over 100 movies and shows. Three Clint Eastwood movies. Met Clint Eastwood. If you go see Sully, 1/3 of the movie is the NTSB hearings. There's Tom Hanks and Aaron Eckhart sitting over here on the left side of the screen in the courtroom. And then in the back are all these people at desks. The very first desk, right to the right of Aaron Eckhart, is my father. You can see him clear as day. 1/3 of the movie. There's even like a side view, and it's just my dad. Me and my mom and my dad went to see it. My mom just started laughing when she saw his close up, and was like, "I can't believe that."
Did he get his SARS card? What's the card you get? Did he ever get to speak?
No, he never got a speaking role. Yeah. And I did it 3 times with him. I was in 2 episodes of Cobra Kai. Got to see Ralph Macchio and Johnny.
Oh.
And I was like, wow. And they go, I used to freak out. I go, this is the guy who inspired me to take karate when I was a child. I signed up for karate and I got the purple belt because of that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and then Johnny's just cool.
Johnny's very cool.
I like him in the later show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was neat. I did 1 episode at Fun Spot. They built a stage at the carnival and they did their demonstrations. And like Miyagi-Do was doing theirs, and it was kind of low budget and lame. And then they come running in, they're going Cobra Kai in order. And I run up to them and I go, yeah, I want to be a Cobra Kai fan. And you can see me way off in the distance. You just know it because it's a blue shirt. I had the only bright blue shirt. Yeah. I go, well, that's me. You can't tell. And the second one, there was a abandoned dealership in Union City, and they made it up to LaRusso's. It said LaRusso's on the front. And I was the salesman in there, and Johnny came in, and I don't think he beat somebody up. He pinned him up against a car. And that was the scene. And I was not seen in either of those, really. Just that was bad. But then I did another movie with my father called Finding Dion, or Saving Dion. That's about the mother who had the kid who had superpowers, and she's trying to raise him without him killing people and exposing himself and protecting him from the government. And there's other people involved trying to protect him, but the government kind of knows about it. They're after him. And we're in the hospital in Riverdale in the bandit wing doing this. And this scene, my father was a doctor and I was a patient. Girl walks by on the phone. She's the main focus. As I walk out of the room, she walks by and I'm holding my neck. My dad walks up to the counter. I walk right by him. Me and him are easily seen. 2nd episode, walking in the same scene.
Do you have these film? Like you should make movie posters out of that. Like
my dad has all the screenshots on his computer.
That's awesome.
I was like, I love that I have that. You know, I've been seen with my dad, even though we're just extras in the back. So I did that with him. And then I was picking him up off the toilet, stuff like that. It was humiliating for him because he never became senile.
Yeah.
So he was always had his head. So he didn't like it, but he also was at the age where he didn't give a crap. He was like, grab my penis. I got paid. I was like, I don't want to, Mom. And she'd be like, oh my God. She just grabbed it and do it.
So what, did he have cancer? What happened?
But I picked him up out of bed, put him in. Sometimes he fell down a lot. Yeah, he had cancer, but it was a treatment. That was what destroyed him. It was obviously chemo. He went through 2 rounds. Radiation was directly to the head because it was a cancer called, he had several cut out, but this bout was skin. It's called angiosarcoma. Very rare and aggressive form of cancer. But the radiation put it into remission. And then it came back, but it wasn't spreading. But they still said, let's try Keytruda. Have you heard of Keytruda?
No.
It's a new immunotherapy treatment. And I guess it's intravenous. There's 3 treatments you do. After the second one, he said, I can't do it. It made him feel awful. And it wasn't long after that, he had these mini seizures, which means you don't seize out. But you have issues. Like he couldn't get out of bed all of a sudden one day. Couldn't sit up. I tried to pick him up. He's just dead weight. He sat there the whole day, didn't want to go to the hospital, but I could tell he was scared because he knew something was happening. Next day, I won't go. Nope. He couldn't eat. I said, I'm calling the ambulance. We got him up to the hospital. He couldn't swallow either. Wow. So saliva's going down. They had to drain it out. They said speech therapy could cure his swallowing. And then, physical therapy, walking. He's 82 at the same time. But they're like, there's a path to recovery. And then a day later, the board comes down. We want you out tomorrow. We need the bed. Like, you tell me there's a path to recovery, and now you're going to kick him out to the nursing home where they do not drain your lungs. So he'll drown. And the lady who did it said, he can't leave here. He'll drown. And he did. 4 days later, he died. And the strangest thing, man, I cried the same way. I only cried with Don because we were really close, and Don was just an awesome person. As long as he had beer, he was a great friend. But when he didn't have beer, he was going to try to get you to buy him beer. So he'd be like, hey, buy me some beer. He'd be shady about it. But Don was a great, great human being. I just wish I could have cured him off that alcohol, and it was impossible. Because I actually said to Don, I said, did the doctor say if you didn't quit drinking, you were going to die? He said, yeah. And I go, why don't you quit? And he goes, because it's fun. I'm like,
He just didn't care.
He cared. He was scared. Hearing his voice. He even talked about killing himself at one time. And I told Sean, and Sean called him and he denied it. But anyway, there's alcoholics where there's no death is bottom. He adapted to driving. He just moved near bars. He lived near bars. And he didn't drink before work. So he had to figure it out. He just drank too much. But where am I at in sobriety right now? I did the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan without a story. I was going somewhere. Sorry, I get sidetracked, man.
No, I interrupted you about
ADHD 6 months ago. Isn't that some shit? I could have been a straight A student.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I did just get diagnosed with it. But all right. So anyway, Don was in the picture at some point. I'll just go back to, let's see. Okay, so I think I talked at one point how manipulative the mind is with alcoholism. It will trick you into drinking again. So you got to think about that as something else. It's another person. You always think of yourself as 2 people. Always. It's very helpful. And really, I think it's true to some point. This is what I learned, and I got to tell you this story. It's amazing because it's the most amazing story of all time. It was a glorious moment because I met this girl when I was in the glory of drinking days in a bar. She was a drinker. I was a drinker. We were just awful for each other after time. A lot of fighting, a lot of hurtful stuff said, hurtful stuff done, but we still stayed together. I think it was pretty much a drinking buddy and a sure thing at the end of the night. And she moved up to New York. We separated and whatever. Moved to New York. I should have left her a long time ago, but I stayed with her for a year. And she messages me like a couple months ago. I'm gonna link you this so you know I'm telling this story. She has this long laundry list of stuff I said 20 years ago. She's still stuck. She's still drinking, so she's still stuck in that era. Because the thing is, once you grab an addiction, you're stuck at that age mentally. And then you start growing when you break it. And that's what psychologists told me. So I'm rolling on, it's what they said. But I believe it because she's still trying to fight me and expect the same response, showing me that, like, did they fix this about you or this or your anger issues or blah, blah, blah. And I looked at it and I didn't get angry at all. I expected to get angry, but the same reaction passed. I wasn't mad. I looked at it and I was like, wow. And I could have, she was mean to me. I usually, after a little while of it being mean, I would fire back. That's how our relationship was. So, but she was never wrong. Narcissist, I guess. Narcissist is the word of the year, so I learned it and I went back and I dated a narcissist. So she puts a list up and I said, oh, that's really interesting. I'll just tell you that I am sorry for everything that I said. You didn't deserve it and I shouldn't have said it. It's very disrespectful and that's not the sign of a good human being that really likes himself. And I can tell you that I did not like myself back then. Why would I? I'm going out, I'm drinking, I'm hurting my family. I don't give a shit. If I'm doing that, I don't like that guy. This is, you're thinking of two people.
No.
There's a guy back there judging you up here that's driving. I don't like you. I'm going to screw you over. I'm going to sabotage you. I'm going to drive you towards self-destructive behavior. I said that. I said, I hated that person. And I said, but I got to tell you, looking at your list, really, this is amazing. Because I'm just now learning this, and this is how it makes me feel. It's very important that you know how your list just made me feel. This is a big moment. When I read your list, I was filled with nothing but joy because I was so glad, so happy that I was not that person anymore, that I never thought I could escape. Like that misery, and I can see that he hates himself now, but then I couldn't. And I see it because all of a sudden now I'm realizing without knowing it, I like this person, and that's why I'm happy. That's why you didn't hurt me and why I'm not shamed or anything like that. I'm happy still, and you can't, whatever you said, all that stuff that's shameful that I did, it didn't break my happiness. So what I just learned, number one, is that I love who I am now because I saw this. And it turns out that there's nothing anybody can say or do to ever take that away from me, no matter how hard they try. That's mine. It's only mine to lose. And then I explored it further because I was like, where did this mental growth come from? But then she blocked me. Hung up, blocked me because it wasn't the response she wanted. And it was sweet redemption. I loved it. I love that moment. I was like, well, where did this growth come from? And why didn't I know about it? Well, what I learned was, I like who I am because I make decisions that I will like myself for doing, and I value self-respect. I make decisions that I respect myself for doing, and those two things they give me a happiness that is solidified there as long as I maintain those things. It's not going anywhere. It can be coated with shame and anger and fear and hate. Maybe some sort of hate or other emotions, but those are, think of them as foam on something hard, which is your happiness. Put that back, like some solid. That's going to wash away. Underneath, you'll always have that sense that you're going to be okay because you're happy. And that was a really cool understanding. And then what I realized too was from this, I feel invincible, man. I've always I've noticed that I'm confident, but this is what's supplying my confidence. Like me sitting here talking I'm looking at the camera talking.
You are exceptional at that. Like I try to do it and I don't. And you have made eye contact with whoever you're speaking to. You're doing
this message is I want it out. So, because you're good. I think you're good. If you're not good, we'll look into that. I need to look under your bed. But I don't know. I did not know that was in my ear. I apologize. That makes me look douchey. Please don't eat it, dog. But those things are so important. This is what it does. It provides you with motivation and it's like a supply of motivation. So you go to your inner wells. You look at them as like these wells that are here. This is your like yourself well, it's full. Respect well, it's full. Go there, you grab your motivation. If you just want to visualize it. Endless motivation, endless confidence, endless drive. You're going to succeed. You're happy. It's all there because of those. Just maintain those two things. Every decision you come to, will this decision hurt my self-respect or will it add to it? Well, your decision is easy. That's it. If you always follow this guide, your path somehow is laid out in life already for you. Keep following that. I believe that you will head to the place you're supposed to be with every decision you make. Now, some may not involve, that attribute. There's others that are more complicated decision-wise. Like decisions between spouses, owning a home, stuff like that. But basic decisions, moral decisions, things like that. Don't screw somebody over because you think you're going to get a free something out of it, or I don't know. Don't make the right decision whether you lose something or not. Don't try to gain something just for making a bad decision. Respect yourself and like yourself. That's the number one reason to make any decision, even if you lose something because of it. And you'll be so glad you did. Everything, as long as I maintain that, I'm going to stay sober. That's a huge drive to stay sober, to feel this way that I do now, right now. It's like you see me talking about it, I'm getting charged up. Yeah. And I always do every time I talk about it.
So what do you say to the person that's drinking right now, like that breakaway? That's got to be the hardest part, is the putting the drink down.
It is for people who are physically addicted, especially. But yeah, you're right. The beginning's the hardest part. Yeah, but you're in a program. You need to be in a program. That's number one.
So you believe in the program.
I think you need to be there are people who are on weaker levels that can just quit, but there's different levels, like Don. And then there was me. I think I've always been someone. My dad taught me to be strong mentally. You can do things on your own. That's how he taught me. You can accomplish what you put your mind to. I think I've always had a sense of strength mentally. I quit smoking in my 20s. A lot of people couldn't do that. I tried 100 times, and then I think my friend Kenneth said, "Why do you try to quit? You're never going to quit." He meant it. He said, "You're never going to quit." Kenneth Edmondson. Yeah, the only reason I quit was to prove him wrong.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's cool.
You might want to challenge him back. Maybe you owe him a little shopper.
I wonder if he still smokes. I don't know. I know he's still with Jamie.
Yeah, I love that.
Jamie's she just sits there quiet.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of her back then. Now she's probably running the shows and sitting here.
Yeah. They got a great family.
Sit your ass in the corner right now.
So Reed, their son Reed, and I cut grass together.
Y'all are grass cutting buddies.
Yeah.
And why are you cutting grass? This is a business you're starting?
Just something I started with Max and Aiden, and there were some yards that people would ask me to do yards that were bigger, and I knew from his grandpa that he had a riding lawnmower and was really trying to do more.
Do a lot of kids besides your kid do that anymore? Because
my kids don't. I ain't gonna go act like my kids do it. I started it as something for them to do. Occasionally, I will get Max to help me, but no, I don't know.
I'm curious.
There are some.
Is that a dying thing with kids?
I don't think so. Because there are a few.
Because I started my first job 12 years old. I was making $10 a yard.
Yeah, it's easy money.
It
makes no sense.
So I could go buy the transformer.
Yeah. So you're gonna go back to music?
I did buy a Les Paul about 7 or 8 months ago. I've always wanted one, brand new.
So what?
I got credit.
What is a career path for you?
I walked in and I said, "I wrap all this shit up. I don't care how much it costs." And now I'm got this. I got a large debt. Huh?
What is a career path in music you'd be interested in?
There's no career path. I play music for me. I would,
which is great, but you're also very talented. For you to write some jingles or to play in a church band or a marching band or I don't know, but I think you shouldn't keep it to yourself. I think you're you're too skilled to.
Well, thank you, man. You always compliment me on that. And I think what you noticed is I could play, even though I was a recreational player. Like I wasn't like wailing on the guitar and I wasn't on the piano, but I could play what I heard. And that was something that my dad had me hitting keys on the piano. Well, I just was hitting them since I was like 2 or 3 years old. Well, my dad was a musician. He's in the Georgia Music Hall of Fame. He had 2 bands, the Squires and the Mark V. I've got pictures on my phone. Won't work showing you on here, but him as a child, as a teen in a band, hanging out with Jerry Lee Lewis at some small house, and he's sitting there at a piano. It's just like 5 or 6 people there,
Wow.
And I'm like, that's really cool. And I know y'all want to dig into Jerry Lee Lewis's other issue. We're not going to. Jerry Lee Lewis, my dad, awesome. I loved Jerry Lee Lewis piano. That's the kind of piano my dad taught me, because I think every time I played for y'all, it was always that 50s.
The grand piano was always big, is the only way I could describe it. It was like a lot of keys, a lot of.
I love that piano. Yeah. We sold it. I hate that. I said, don't sell it, man. I love this piano. And they sold it. I got my grandma's piano, which is just awful, terribly out of tune. And it would cost more to tune it than it's worth.
Wow.
But I'm saving up to buy an actual keyboard that has weighted keys. It's like a real piano. Like you hit the harder you hit the key, the harder it strikes, stuff like that. Which is important to me. I want the piano to feel real. And I've had one before and I sold it, but I'm getting another one real soon that I really love. And not real soon. I got a long way to go. But going to get back into that. I did buy the guitar because my plan is to learn the scales. I want to learn to play the neck solo. And I want to learn the neck where when I hear something, I know it so well, I can just wait. And I want to know if a 51-year-old can learn that trick. I don't know, like old dog, new trick. Because when you're younger, your mind soaks things up. I learned guitar at 14. I don't know when that ends. But like guitar, came to me real fast. Like playing chords.
I think you can. I think it's different than like a language. I would say it's pretty tough to learn.
No, I've tried,
but
I cannot hang on to.
I think if you're passionate, you can learn anything. Really.
Yeah.
If you meet another 41%
I will give
Latino girl, you might learn Spanish.
She does have to be 41%. That's hard to find 41%. I got one there. I didn't even get to the point of that story because what I said was her profile said must carry conversation. And then I told my little line. The point was we went on a date. This guy carried the whole damn conversation. Now, there'd been a lot of silence otherwise. And I didn't say anything. And I wasn't talking about myself. I went and asked her questions a lot. And carried the whole conversation. First date I ever ended first, too. I don't know why, but I was proud of that because I knew her and I weren't going to be a long term. Yeah. This is a thing you start to learn to ask yourself. Do I want this long term? Yeah. The answer is no, not dating again. I could tell she was mean, and by things she said, once she learned who the real me was, I would get that mean look, try to change me. Because I'm very candid the way I speak, about things in my life that some people are cool with, and some I get, I'm sheltered. But she started talking about her friend being like that. She's like, I got to apologize for you when you meet her. She's like, she talks about sex openly. And I was like, okay. Because I'm very vulgar when I talk. I talk very specifically about things that I don't know how this show is, but I am very candid. And I make sure the woman's okay with it because I believe in respect. I don't disrespect people, so I don't just blab it out. But I already knew she had that look in her face where I could tell it could go to angry control. I don't know. I just got the vibe. Pretty girl. And I ended at first. Didn't call her back. That's a rarity. Drunk Scott would have been like, I'm going on a second date because I'm going to hit this. That's a bad guy. Good guy.
See?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you're sober and you shared with us. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, you all can do it. And it's so awesome. Such a great feeling. And I don't know if people who are watching this know me, but my phone line, just ask David for my number. It's open to anybody. You just call me and I'm there to just listen. I'll just listen to you talk. I'm not going to chime in with any sort of lecture or anything like that until you ask me questions about it. So that's what I'm doing right now. There's several people I talk to. It's rewarding. I like it.
Wow.
And look at me, man. I'm a community guy, happy person. I think my jokes are still just as weird as they were when I was younger. They're probably weirder. Were my jokes weird when I was younger?
Yes.
Yeah, still weird. Man.
Still weird.
And everybody loves them. They think they're funny. I was class clown and say some weird stuff. They say, Scott, you ain't right. But they were laughing. I was like, I don't care. You laughing. I can be not right. It's fine. My only goal was to get a little attention.
Yeah. Oh, it's all of us a little bit. So.
Yeah. Oh, high school.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate it.
I got a phone call. Can y'all hold on a second?
All right. We're going to end on that just in case.
No, I'm not going to answer the phone. Come on, man.
Come on.
You guys are number one.
She might be 41%.
This girl is not, but she is
She's gone now.
100% a female.
All right. So
she is Griffin. I went out and hung out with this girl. I used to work with her in Griffin in the ghetto, and just had the best time sitting on her front porch. It was like Smokey and I don't know what the other name, Craig, and Friday.
Yeah.
I felt like that because there was like homeless people walking by, and backpacks on, and she's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? What's up, twinsy?" She had names for everybody, and they'd be like, "What's going on?" They come over and talk, and it would be crazy nonsense. And I was like, "This is awesome. We need marijuana, and we will smoke the marijuana cigarettes like Smokey." And because I'm out of the loop on all that these days, so I'm talking nerdy, but it was like that. It felt like that. It was entertaining, and I never felt threatened. Weird thing to put myself in a bad situation where a lot of drug deals go down, but drugs weren't the problem. I will tell you this. There's a lot of people who think things are the worst drug. The worst drug and most destructive drug is, heroin is pretty bad. It does pretty much the same thing as far as destroy your life. But I put alcohol right there with it, and alcohol is the hardest thing to withdraw from for most people. Wow. It has the highest death rate. It's the hardest thing not to come back to. To me, it destroys so much. It's destroyed so much in me. So maybe that's why I'm picking it as the worst drug. It tried to. I fixed it. And you should too. People tell me their problems. They have problems. They're sad. They don't. They have low self-esteem. I said, well, why don't we fix it? Wouldn't that be cool if all of a sudden you liked yourself and you didn't have low self-esteem? It'd be great. I did this with this girl recently. I said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. I did a 5-year plan. Uh-huh. And I said, it's going to work here with you. What you're going to do, I said, what do you like? Painting. All right. 5-year plan. Year 1, I want 10 paintings, and we're going to get them in the gallery. Start working on them because she's going through a divorce. And this is going to take away those horrible feelings that you feel, because you're going to feel achievement, excitement, drive, because you're building and you're working, you're accomplishing something, because you set baby steps, and you're doing it. You're working towards it. We're going to have more paintings the next time. At the end, we're going to have a gallery that we rent out just for you, full of your stuff. That's in 5 years. And wouldn't that be awesome? And how do you think you will feel about yourself in that moment? She said, I'll feel great. And she said, you're right, Scott. This girl never tells anybody they're right. She's right. I got it, and I'm right. And
all right, I'll be at the grand opening for that gallery.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll be at the first one too.
Okay. I will have a painting there myself. It's going to be worth $154,000, and I count you to buy it.
I will
support me. Yeah.
All right. Thank y'all very much. This is closing time with Scott Blanks and David Mansour. Have a great day.
Is this cool? That's cooler.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, y'all. Have a good time. I hope you learned something. Call me. Call me.
Oh, me.
My number is open.
Still talking to them.
I don't care if I've never met you in my life. Call me. If you scam me, I will scam you back. Even better.
Ooh. Yeah. All right. Did we have anybody join our live stream? I don't think we did.
Oh my God, that was your best show. I've never seen any of your shows, so I don't know what I'm talking about.